What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. Thank you for already hitting a like for the YouTube algorithm. Thank you for already subscribing. And thank you for always supporting the channel. I'm always looking to bring as much value as possible as a result of what we talk about, business and money related. Today, I'm gonna talk about and break down exactly what's going on with student loans. You got planes flying all the way across the skyline. You got palm trees, right? You got a nice pool atmosphere. It's Saturday morning, ladies and gentlemen. I've been over here in Miami for a little less than a week, and things are going awesome here. But let's get back to exactly what we want to talk about. We want to talk about these student loans, okay? And the thing about the student loans is that news has come out, and I've been following this closely on the Millionaire Morning Show, but news has recently come out that Biden, our favorite, Uncle Joe, has given us an update on what his plans are in order to address the student loan crisis that's happening in society today. You know, that was one of the biggest issues that you guys were concerned about during the election. And you know what they promised you? They said, you know what? We're going to make sure that on day one, we're going to cancel student loans. Let me say that again. They said on day one, and I believe that the tweet is still up. On day one, we're going to address student loans and we're going to get this stuff wiped out. Now, you got people that have no power to be able to do anything as far as, you know, them doing it on an individual basis, like AOC, Elizabeth Warren, yada, 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 right? And they're saying, you know what? We need Biden to get this addressed immediately. Now, one thing they were right about is that although Biden tried to kick the can down the road and he trying to give it to Congress, he has the ability with the swift stroke of a pen to be able to erase all of your student debt. $1.4 to $1.7 trillion in student debt. How does that sound? You know what that sounds like to me? Sounds like higher taxes, sound like more inflation, sound like the value of the dollar continuing to go down, and sounding like these politicians are giving into the victim Olympics. That's what it sounds like to me. But I don't have a dog in the fight because student loans are not something that affect me. Rita don't have student loans. We're not tripping off of that, right? But let's just break it down. Let's break it down by the numbers, right? So one thing that he already said, he said, you know what, family? That whole $50,000 per person, that's off the table. We not even gonna think about it. I don't care what I told y'all before the election. I don't care about what was said. I don't care about what the promises are. I don't care about none of that. We not even gonna talk about $50,000 per person. That's off the table. So you can forget about it. He's already said that, right? The second thing that we gotta pay attention to is the timing of it all, right? We got midterm elections coming up. And people are very, very concerned with what's going on with inflation. That's one of the number one causes of concerns, right? They're also concerned about the idea that the middle class is going away and it's taking more for you to be able to survive and be able to thrive in this environment and this economy, that you're priced out of housing, all of this beautiful housing behind me. We got Miami, we got the planes flying over us. We got the gulf between the rich and the poor is becoming wider. It's becoming bigger, right? And so that's the second thing that they're worried about. Another thing that they're worried about is the fact that they keep getting promised by these politicians and they're not following through. Regardless of how bad the plan is, they want y'all to follow through. They want y'all to fix these student loans, okay? So here's the key though. He already said he's not gonna do at least 50,000. He said he may do up to. Now you know, it's almost like going into a retail store and they say, listen, you can get up to 50% off. That don't necessarily mean that the stuff that you want, the latest collection, the newest stuff that just came out, first of all, that's not even for sale. Secondly, you can go over to the sale rack and the only thing that's going to be 50% off is the stuff that's the most tattered. It's the same thing when it comes to these student loans, right? They say you can get up to possibly, we're going to think about it, up to $10,000 off per student. Here's the caveat. There's an income threshold Income threshold. So if you make above a certain amount, you get a lower amount discounted or removed. And here's the trick. You get a lower amount taken off. So if you're under, I believe it was $125,000 to $150,000 per individual and $250,000 to $300,000 per couple. Don't quote me on that. More information to come. We're gonna talk about that on the Millionaire Morning Show. Then if you make above that, then you out of luck, or you're gonna get a very, very minimal amount taken off. Now the problem with that is that the people that didn't run in the Victim Olympics and that was willing to take their stuff and they was taking that hit and they was willing to pay all their stuff off, they get left out in the cold. They get left out in the cold. The other side of the equation, though, is that it's going to cost the federal government somewhere between 150 and $300 billion. Let me say that again. 150 to $300 billion to even institute this program. Now, the reason why that is because once you get down to a certain amount of people, so the majority of the people that wind up getting their student loans and paying it back and not having no problem paying it back are very, very high earners. We already know that if you make above, or if you are college educated, you probably make in your lifetime more than $1 million more than somebody that's not college educated. That is a fact. And the number is becoming wider and wider. So for people that's saying that college is a scam, it's not. The concentration of your degree is a scam, but college is certainly not a scam. But here's the other caveat to this whole thing, and I want y'all to pay attention to this, right? $10,000 per person, and it varies based off of income level, and then it drops off once you get down to a certain level. The problem that they haven't, and the reason why they haven't executed on this, regardless of whether or not it's something that they can do, or if they're willing to take the hit financially, or they don't have the money in the budget, or whatever that is. The problem is this. Let me tell you what the problem is. The people that have, or that is not impacted the most by student loans because they didn't go to college, is only less than 10% of those that own student loans. So take this into consideration. That's their base. The liberal base are generally people that make the least amount of money. This is not my opinion. I don't care if you vote liberal or conservative. I don't care if you vote Democrat or Republican. This is a fact. The majority of the base of liberals, Democrats, his base, the people that are trying to vote for him, they are not even the ones that have student loans. This is a fact, okay? The people that make the most money hold more than 50% of the student loans. You can look it up, which means that these are people that fall squarely in the base of Republicans. So even if he was to forgive these student loans, the majority of the people that he's doing it for, they aren't even a part of his base, which means that it does not benefit him, but it was a good talking point and a good selling point to get y'all emotionally charged in order to vote for him during the election. By the numbers, it's going to cost the federal government somewhere between $150 and $300 billion. Inflation is already sky high. Taxes is already sky high. The federal deficit already sky high. And then the people who he's going to be forgiving the loans for, the majority of them don't even fall squarely within his base. So what does that tell you? There is no incentive for him to do so, but he's stuck between a rock and a hard place because he promised to do so prior to actually getting in the White House, which is not going to bode well for those that are on the other side of the political spectrum. Trust me, I'm starting a politics aspect of this channel, and that is going to be coming very soon. We're working very hard on that. We don't know the dates, we don't know the times, we don't know none of that. But all I'm telling y'all is to start doing your research. Start doing a deep dive into what the piss is happening out here in these streets so that you don't become a victim, you become a victor. We're not sitting here running in the Victim Olympics. We're not waiting on nobody to do nothing for us. Listen, if you tripping over 10 grand, then you already got bigger problems than what we're talking about with regard to student loans, all right? Make sure you don't fall in the Victim Olympics or the Oppression Olympics. That's the thing too. Patreon link is in the description. If you want to rock with a group of people that's going in the direction that you're going in, I just dropped a Patreon exclusive video today. It helps you to level up 4 ways that you can scale up your business, and then you can apply this to any aspect of your life in addition to your business. That's there. We got the live stream going tomorrow, part 3 of building a business from scratch. I'm putting my own money up to do that. We got that popping. Patreon exclusive meetup May 14th in Vegas. That's popping. We building. We're not waiting on no government. We're not waiting on no Biden, right? We're not waiting on none of that. When I told y'all that inflation was going to be affecting you more than it's affecting me, I was absolutely right. Real talk. We out here creating content. We buying property. And then everything that we got going on here, honestly, is tax deductible because legally, this is all business related. And there's ways to do that. But you gotta get your head out of your butt and start aligning with people that's going in the direction that you're going in. You need personal coaching, make sure you tap in with your boy, AntonDaniels.com. Go to my website, make sure you tap in, send me an email from there, and then we're gonna get you scheduled. In the meantime, you can go ahead and keep depending on the federal government to make sure you're taken care of. Funniest part about this whole thing, here's the key. Funniest part of this whole thing, even if they was to forgive $10,000 per student, you still behind the 8 ball. Because if you look at all of the interest that you accumulated over time as a result of paying into this, it's just a handout. It doesn't actually solve for anything. And here's the key. It doesn't change what's going to go in the future as far as people continuing to take out these student loans and then complain about the fact that they're gonna be running in the Victim Olympics and asking the federal government, but you did it for them, why you ain't do it for me? It's a problem all the way around the board, and nobody has an answer or a solution for it except for Anton from AntonDaniels.com. Running for president in the near future. I love these buildings. I love Miami. No matter what side of this rooftop that we go to, it's awesome, it's beautiful. I love it. So many rooftop pools, and we gonna have a good time. Y'all stay safe. Peace.